That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Let's go ahead and move on to Black Panther, Bad Mother. So Hudlin's run in the first 6 issues, perfect. Really, really strong start to a run. Just nails it for me. Wild Kingdom, playing around with the X-Men. It's not bad. It's just nowhere near as good as that high you got left on at the end of Who is the Black Panther. Bad Mother is certainly better than Wild Kingdom and is cool. And I like the premise that it's using, but like, I'm still waiting to get back to the stuff that was set up in Who is the Black Panther. And this is a weird complaint for me to make. Because I'm the guy that usually talks about how there aren't enough single issue stories or just 1 or 2 issue stories. Everything has to be part of a gigantic run that just keeps building and building in comics these days, and that's really annoying. And yeah, that is really annoying, especially as a monthly reader. This trade is a pretty good argument for why it's kind of understandable that that happens. Like, Wild Kingdom is not as enjoyable to read as this was, but it does build into other stuff that's going to be happening in the run. It does do good relationship stuff building up T'Challa and Aurora, Black Panther and Storm, that relationship. This does none of that. This arc starts with this arc starts by following Luke Cage, actually, as he thinks of and talks about Black Panther, and then ends up meeting Black Panther in a nightclub. And this is where we get, like, it's kind of developing the idea that, yeah, Black Panther is looking for a wife. And that's interesting, and that's cool and stuff. And it does lead into my bigger complaint with this arc. But basically, Luke Cage is working as a bodyguard, kind of, job to job, and meeting T'Challa and being put in a situation where he would have had to fight T'Challa and decided not to, cost him his job. And so T'Challa's like, I'm here to offer you a new. I'm sorry you lost your job. I'm not. I'm here to offer you a new one. Interested? Interested. Man, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. And he says that as like a bunch of ninjas are about to attack T'Challa and Luke Cage. And like, that's, this is fun. It's Luke Cage and T'Challa fighting together against a horde of ninjas. And then like they go, hey, how come no ninjas have come in the front door? And then we just cut to the front door of Luke Cage's apartment where T'Challa's bodyguards are just kicking the shit out of a ton of ninjas. That's cool. And then, like, shit happens. A jet shows up, takes T'Challa, Cage jumps on it. Falcon tries to go after it, doesn't work out for him. The jet takes off, and yeah, shit happens. Also, just brief interlude, this kind of all happens out on the street, and so you have people from Luke Cage's neighborhood walking around going, oh my god, what's happening right now? And Hudlin just gets, like, not only how to write Black people, but like how to do comedy with Black people in a comic, because there's a very particular kind of interaction and talking that, like, a lot of comic writers actually don't get. And I kind of know this just from hanging around with Black families. neighbors growing up. One of my best friends growing up was black, and his family was black, and just hung out with him all the time. And so there's just very particular style of what they find funny that Hudlin catches and really shows you quite well. So like, this is in kind of the aftermath of all the black superheroes leaving, Falcon, Luke Cage, T'Challa, and one of the guys in the neighborhood is just like, you know what would be cool? If y'all got together and made a black super team. That's a great, and like the old man, that's a great idea. They can arrest you and your drug dealing behinds. Hey, this gun is just for the self-defense. It's dangerous out here on these streets. Like that's really funny. I like that. That's just, it just got it. It's just the right kind of attitude, and there's just a good sense of comedy there. But anyway, this is all apparently part of a gigantic plan. I think it's Fu Manchu. That's the bad guy in this, kind of, sort of. This is the, yeah, I think it's supposed to be Fu Manchu. Help me out, y'all. That Fu Manchu, he's got like the long nails and stuff. The reason I'm not sure is they say T'Challa's about to say the infamous Fu, and then guy cuts him off and he goes, "Nuh-uh, I no longer go by that name. It was a silly title given to me by ignorant Westerners that simply meant Man of Manchu Dynasty." Oh yes, I think it was supposed to be Fu Manchu. Every 100 years or so, I like to do a makeover, as the Americans say, and now I am simply known as Han. Han, like the bad guy and Enter the Dragon. You're kidding, right? This is cool. So anyway, this, like, the reason that T'Challa was attacked and kidnapped was because it is common knowledge that he's looking for a wife, and Han tries to offer him his daughter's hand in marriage. And like, I love this. This is really funny. Where like, you know, it's, you're expecting something like, oh, the world's gonna, or I'm gonna take over the world, and I needed to take T'Challa out beforehand or something. He's like, no, I'll offer you my daughter's hand in marriage, and like, you just get this look of Luke Cage and T'Challa seeing his daughter, and T'Challa doesn't quite know how to respond. He's like, Han, this is an unexpected and generous proposal. To offer me your daughter is quite an honor. And you know, I can just hear Luke Cage whispering in the background, and not the fugly daughter either. She is fine. And so Han keeps going. Hawaii Fair is trained to be the perfect wife and mother. Furthermore, my scientists have a method that will guarantee male children, sons that will rule 2 continents, Africa and Asia. So what do you think? Han, your daughter is beautiful, but my heart, it belongs to another. Heart! Heart! I offer my daughter to you and you, a subhuman ape, and you reject her? Why you gotta go racial all of a sudden? Just say to hell with you and call it a day, because now I gotta tax you. Luke Cage is awesome. So anyway, the ninjas and who is it that shows up? But Shang-Chi shows up. I don't know who that is. And they fight off the ninjas, and Luke Cage gets like attacked by a dragon, and all his clothes get burned up because of it. And like, it's, you know, they defeat Han basically. Then at the end, the daughter's like, I'm sorry my father did all this, but I only went along with all of it because I really do like you. And Luke goes, look, I just want you to think before you answer here. This girl is insanely beautiful, And I bet Han wasn't lying about her abilities to please her man. Could it hurt to go out on a date with her? And T'Challa just left like, oh, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's funny. It is funny and entertaining, and it's especially funny because T'Challa's a man of honor, and yet because of his status, because of his wealth, he has to deal with women throwing themselves at him and women being thrown at him, and just different levels of insistence from different people. And that is truly interesting. That is the idea of someone who is emotionally invested but has opportunity after opportunity presented to him, and he has to like turn that down but still be regal about it is truly interesting. The problem is, and this is like an issue throughout the entirety of this run so far, and certainly this volume, there's an inherent level of sexism, because with the exception of Storm, there are no apparent, or there, I take that back. There are some women in this book who aren't just, money grubbing or aren't just gold diggers. Though there are just ones that are. And so, unfortunately, a lot of the time, a lot of the dedication of the story is being spent on the ones who are, to set up conflict for T'Challa to kind of be better than. But in doing so, you're moving the focus more towards those kind of characters, that kind of portrayal of women. And that's I'm not going to say full out sexist, but it does undercut my ability on some levels to enjoy this. But I'll give credit where it's due. Let me find it, because there's a scene early on where the reason T'Challa's in New York, the reason he meets up with Luke Cage, is because he's looking for a wife, and he goes to see an ex-girlfriend that he had in college, before anyone knew who he really was. And he's having a conversation with her. Let me see if I can find it. Is it after that? Yeah, okay. So, like, he has a conversation with her and is, like, proposes marriage. And she just immediately turns him down because of his life, and also because of his mother, but because of his lifestyle. Like, she's like, I didn't pass up a ride to school in a new Benz to end up getting killed by Mongo the albino ape man. His name was whatever. I'm not raising kids in that kind of environment. It's like, what is this line with Ram? If I was the kind of girl who didn't mind flirting with danger, I would have dated a drug dealer in 10th grade. Like, so this is a strong female character. She's successful in her own right. She's like become a pop star or whatever. She's successful in her own right, and she knows what she wants out of a relationship, and she is not beholden to the whims of T'Challa. Like, T'Challa proposes marriage, and she turns it down flat out, doesn't even flirt with the idea. And you know what? It's a good scene. It's a solid scene. But the portrayal of the woman that we spend more time with in this book starts right after the fact, where it's a woman saying, "Can you believe that silly hoochie ran him off? Which means he's single and looking for the one. Why else would he be at the nightclub? Now, how the hell is he going to meet a quality woman in a place like this?" and then that woman goes and hits on him. So there is again, I'm not going to use the word sexism because it's showing a variety of character and moral uprightness in women. That is called writing people. That is called writing character. But I will say it is a little, I don't even know what word I want. I'm going to use the SJW word. It is certainly problematic to focus more on the overall narrative. It is problematic for the overall narrative and how it's true and how it's representing women on the page. Now, the next volume is called The Bride, I believe, and that is where he and Storm get married. So my hope is that it's going to mean a much more well-written more fully fleshed out female character. And like, to be fair, there's also development for his sister. His sister's at this nightclub with him, and she's just out on the dance floor pushing herself to exhaustion, and he comes and hugs her and is like, it's really hard for you to take life, especially your first one, because she's reacting to what happened at the end of Who is the Black Panther. And so that's really interesting. There's a lot of great stuff going on here. So that's like the first half of the story. And again, it's 2 issues. That I would have loved the hell out of that if I was just reading it month to month at the time. Number 12, issue number 12, gives us the beginning of a crossover with Luke Cage, Black Panther, Blade, and what's his name? I gotta find his name. Brother Voodoo. So we're very intentionally doing, hey, black superheroes teaming up. It's cool. And yeah, black superheroes teaming up. It's cool. I want to get back to the main story. I really do. I mean, there's undeniable coolness in this. Like, is that the only good panel we get of it? Yeah, there we go. Luke Cage in Wakandan robes is awesome. That is really, really neat. And like, just hearing him or seeing Luke Cage talk with T'Challa about the robes is really neat. The robes of Wakanda suit you well, my friend. Don't worry, I'll send them to the cleaners before I return them. And T'Challa just like, those are a gift. Please don't embarrass me by not accepting. Luke Cage is like, are you kidding me? Hell yeah, I'm accepting. Wait till the old heads, the Human bookstore uptown, check these out. That's really neat. So what sets up the story is T'Challa wants to go visit New Orleans, and this came out and is centered around the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. So that puts this, September? Yeah, September of 2005. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. And this is just about like what was going on with not only people, without houses, unable to get to shelters and stuff like that, but it comic books it up, which of course comics are good at doing. And it has comic booky over the topness added in to kind of show the way the problem feels. I've been trying to come up with another way to express what comics are doing when they put just a huge exaggeration of a problem on the page that is going on in the real world. And the best example I've been able to think of, or the best way to put that I've been able to think of, is comics don't necessarily just show you what's happening. They are really good at showing you how it feels. And I think that is a very worthwhile endeavor. So T'Challa and Luke Cage go to New Orleans to help, the humanitarian effort, but also to help with a significant problem that's going on, which is the rise of vampires. Apparently, the hurricane flooded, and this is a real thing that happened in New Orleans since it's below sea level. It's really hard to keep coffins underground, and especially in storms and stuff. So the hurricane flooded cemeteries, and that brought one of an old vampire that was resting in his grave, that woke him up and brought him into the world again. And so his evil plan is to turn New Orleans into a city of vampires. And so T'Challa is there to help fight against that. We also get this amazing, amazing cover right here for the next part of the issue. That's cool as shit. That's just fucking awesome. T'Challa saving people from the wreckage of New Orleans. Red Leader makes a good point. If angels get a city, then so should vampires. That kind of works because Los Angeles, and then you got New Orleans, which is kind of a city of sin, so it would make sense for vampires to take root there. I hadn't thought of that. That's a nice little way to put it. Matthew Bennett says, "Goddamn swamp Draculas." Goddamn swamp Draculas. Gotta deal with this. Drain the swamp. Drain it. I think I could do like an okay Trump in like the short term, but trying to go as Trump is really hard. So yeah, they're just kind of, all working to take out vampires in this house together. Blade and Brother Voodoo show up and start working on it, and they're just a team dealing with shit. Oh, that wasn't even a cover. That was just a page. That's cool as shit. That's not even a cover. That's just a page. That is a great page. This foreign entity coming to America to help solve its problems. It's no mistake. Captain America shield's back there. That's really cool. But anyway, they're fighting vampires in this basement and dealing with stuff, and I mean, it's cool action. It's fun. It's neat. Brother Voodoo's a character I'd never heard of before, but he's pretty cool in this too. T'Challa gets in his plane, and this I want a fucking action figure of. T'Challa gets in his jet real quick to change clothes to something more appropriate to fighting vampires in. So he takes the sword that he got from the end of the last volume and dresses in fucking epic ass, like Dark Knight looking armor. That is badass. I want that action figure, man. That's so fucking cool. This armor has been consecrated in the name of the Panther god. This blade is a weapon of the Roman Catholic Church. In the name of all that is holy, prepare to die. As he starts fighting vampires. I will say the biggest problem is that page, that panel should be followed by at least a page of nothing but T'Challa fighting vampires, or like a really cool 2-page spread of him fighting the vampires and just like slaying the shit out of them. But it doesn't, and we just get continued dialogue exchange and stuff. So whatever. Anyway, so they come up with a plan of what they're gonna do, and again, just really fucking cool shit. That's cool. He's in knight armor on a fucking motorcycle, man. Oh. Anyway, they all go and they're fighting and killing vampires and dealing with the bad guy, and Blade kills the main vampire, and T'Challa convinces the, at the time, Captain Marvel to use sunlight powers to kill all the vampires, and yada yada yada. They find Brother Voodoo's Cadillac and drive off into the sunset together. It's just cool. I mean, it's fun. It's cool. I'm not like disappointed that I read this or anything. I had fun reading it. I laughed. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Like there's some really neat stuff in this. Don't get me wrong. I just would like to see the story continue. It's so weird for me to be the guy that goes, oh, well, you shouldn't just only focus on gigantic arcs and stuff. If you're doing it in a monthly format, there should be breaks that just are, simple, easy stories. And I stand by that 100%. What I think would have worked better, and you could make the argument that Wild Kingdom is a big arc, but it doesn't really have a ton to do with T'Challa's advancement. It's just a crossover, right? What I feel that the perfect formula is pretty much established in Sandman, where we'd get an arc, and then we'd get a one-and-done story that thematically or just in some subtle plot way, but would set up future stories, but in such a way where it did not require you to read those stories to be impacted by that issue. That's the only that's the best way I've ever read comics was Sandman, as far as arc and singles and that kind of thing, as far as balance between those two. And so this, we got 2 back-to-back short story arcs, 2 issues. Right? I did that right. 10 to 13, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah. 2 issues. And that's great. But it would have been better if this had directly followed Who is the Black Panther as opposed to Wild Kingdom. I'm being told to get Starman. Okay. I'll look into getting Starman. But otherwise, I really like this. It's still fun, even though like I have my complaints about it, about the way that it is characterizing the women, about the way that it is, not really adding too much to the run. It's still enjoyable though. And it's got like such a self-aware title, Bad Mother. Man, that Shaft is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. I'm just talking about the Shaft. Let's see here. Red Leader Antilles asks, so what is left in that run? Let's go ahead and check on that real quick. Can I get there without taking off my headphones? It's going to be close. Yay, ready. Okay, not counting Black Panther, Captain America, Flags of Our Fathers, we've got a number of volumes still left. So, time permitting, next week I'll be talking about Black Panther Volume 4, The Bride, as well as Black Panther's stuff in Civil War, Black Panther 4, The Hard Way, Black Panther Little Green Men, Black Panther Back to Africa, Black Panther Secret Invasion, Black Panther Deadliest of the Species, Black Panther Power, and Black Panther Captain America Flags of Our Fathers. Yeah, it's a pretty substantial run. Yes, Red Leader. I bought all of these years ago, like a year or two ago, and I did not read them all at once. Yes. Did I get a raise or a bonus or something? No, I wanted to collect everything, and since it wasn't something that was like still in stores, I couldn't get it at my comic shop. So I was buying them piecemeal on eBay. So like by the time I got Who is the Black Panther, I had like this and that was it. So I wanted to like have everything before I started reading them. By the time I got everything, it took like a month and a half to get everything here. I was out of a Black Panther mood. But now I'm back in a Black Panther mood, so I'm going through Black Panther. It's a very Black Panther time on Geeky Gentleman right now, or on Super 2's channel. Next week we're doing a Black Panther fan film and Black Panther character discussion. So look forward to that.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.